Hey guys, welcome back to One All's Pub, and it's fixed blade time here on the bar top in the pub. Specifically, this guy, DPX Gear. It's the Woodsman HEST 2, or HEST 2 Woodsman maybe is the proper way to say it, from DPX Gear, made by Lion Steel in Italy, in old Maniago, Italy. Lion Steel certainly knows how to make a knife, and this is a beautiful example. I believe that DPX originally was having Rowan or somebody like that make these. I can't remember now what the story was behind it, but they've since gone to Lion Steel, so now they're no longer U.S. made. But man, if you're gonna go outside of U.S. made knives, Lion Steel is one of the ones to look at. These they make a beautiful knife. Reference the beautiful Lion Steel SR2A. One sexy little EDC. I'll go ahead and put a link right here, or Bert will. You can check out my review and talk of this guy. Great knife. Back to this guy, fixed blade. Anyway, I'd actually traded my Domino quite a while ago to Toad Sticker. My good buddy Rick over at the Toad Sticker channel traded him my Domino for his Chris Reeve Vignala, and kind of wanted to get kind of a nice fixed blade, which is something I just don't have. I have some cheap fixed blades and whatnot, but I really kind of just wanted to get a nice fixed blade, and Rick wanted to trade, and so we went ahead and did it, and I loved that in Vignala, don't get me wrong, but I found it to be just a little bit bigger than I wanted it to be. It was about 3 5/8, I think, inches long, blade-wise, and the handle was, longer than still, and it was all in all, it was just a little bit bigger than I wanted, and I wanted something just a little smaller, so I sold that and then went hunting around and decided to pick up this guy. This is a and I'll have Bert go ahead and give me the specs there, buddy. This one's got just a touch over a 3-inch blade. I think it's 3.16 again. Bert, specs, thanks. And a little bit over a 4-inch handle, and just really fits the hand. This is exactly what I was looking for. Size-wise, it's got this Brazilian Santos wood handle, very nice. The Vignala had a nice brown micarta, which felt great and had nice traction tactily, but it was a rounded handle, and it always felt a little bit like it wanted to spin in my hand. This does not. This sets in perfectly, and it does have some pretty decent traction. It's not really slick at all. This is a cool knife from a couple other perspectives, other than size-wise. That being that it's got some, multi-tool tasks to it too. You have a 1/4-inch hex nut here, which is kind of cool. So you can put this. If you had a driver, you could put this on and use it to turn. And it's got a bottle opener on top, which is interesting. I guess that's pretty good if you're drinking beer in the bush. The jimping here is actually wire strippers, so that's cool, and it's a very effective jimping. It really feels good in the hand. This is and you can also sneak your thumb up here and use this as kind of a nice grip for the thumb too, and kind of an indexing point as well. It's got a pry bar here on the pommel, which is kind of cool, and you can actually take these handle scales off, and inside they're hollowed out, so you could actually put something inside this knife, inside the handle, and then put the scales back together, and you'd have a little secret compartment in there. And if you know me at all, you know I love little pockets and secret compartments and small pockets and stuff like that. So that was really an intriguing aspect. I don't have anything in there yet. I haven't decided what to put in there yet. Maybe I'll just put a $100 bill in there, or a $20 bill in there, something just to have a little spare cash or something. I honestly don't know. Maybe some fire starter material. Haven't got that far yet. I've had this knife maybe about a month now, maybe a little over, and haven't had a whole lot of time. Haven't even gone hiking with it since I got the knife, so I'm really looking forward to doing that this weekend. We're planning on going up to our cabin and spending some time, and I'm going to take this sucker out and put it to use. So, anyway, so let's that's kind of the details of the knife and whatnot. Now let's look at this blade. You've probably noticed this edge on it gleaming and shimmering around. There's a story behind this guy. I did this on the Wicked Edge, and I did this with I did this at 14 degrees per side, which is way more acute than I had initially planned to go. But the thing was, when I got this knife, the very tip, first of all, this knife is not thin stock. it's a pretty wide stock for a smaller knife, and it doesn't have a real sharp taper to the grind. So when you get down here to the edge, it's not super thin behind the edge. As a matter of fact, some would even say it's kind of thick behind the edge. So I knew I wanted to kick that back somewhat anyway, but it doesn't. With this grind, it's just consistent thickness all the way to the tip. And because this belly really swoops up, there's not really hardly any drop to that. I mean, there's just a little bit of a drop there from up here to the tip of the knife. So this belly is really swooping up, and as it swoops up, it's getting thicker and thicker and thicker with the grind. So at the very probably last quarter inch or so of this grind, of the secondary bevel when they were sharpening this at the factory, and initially I thought this was, what I'm about to tell you, was just my knife. That said, I've seen other pics of this knife online now, and I suspect this is what they're doing on all of them. So it is something to be aware of if you're buying this knife. Be prepared for this and either accept it or reprofile it. Is that when it got to this, in order to maintain a consistent bevel, because the knife thickened as it got towards the tip here a little bit, they kind of dug into the steel and ground it, and it's hard to describe, and I probably should have a pic of it, but I don't. Apologize. But they had to kind of play with their grind a little bit here and dig into the steel and make the grind a little deeper right in here. And you could actually see it. I mean, when I got this knife along this edge right here, right about there, there was a noticeable little concavity. I mean, it was, noticeable to me because I'm OCD, but just a little bit of concavity right there where it was just ground a little thinner to keep the overall secondary bevel consistent. I noticed that and I thought, well, that's weird. It was just, a little bit of a wave right there at the tip. And I was like, man, what's up with that? I considered sending it back, but I said, you know what? I'm going to reprofile this thing anyway. I'll just fix that when I sharpen it. So I went to do that, and oh my gosh, I did not know what I was getting myself into. 5+ hours later, stretching over 2 days worth of sharpening, to grind this sucker down to 14 degrees per side. This thing was probably at 25 degrees per side, maybe. I don't know what it was. I didn't measure it, but it was thick. And I ground and ground and ground and ground and ground. And the lowest stone I have on the Wicked Edge is my 100 grit. And I don't have the 1580 kind of reprofiling stones because they typically don't reprofile that much. Not when I say that much, I mean I reprofile a lot of knives, but I don't reprofile to this degree. I might knock a degree or two off the factory edge or whatever. 18 is kind of my usual. It's kind of what I just like. So when I took this sucker down to 14, I kept going down to kind of fix this problem. I had to grind away so much steel just to get that jacked up tip fixed. So like I said, either that's kind of what they're doing on all of them. I've seen pictures where it kind of looks like maybe they had the same issue as my knife. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just, hypersensitive now and I'm looking and thinking I'm seeing stuff. Or maybe they are doing that. Irrespective, I had to fix it because that's just not something I could stand. So I went to grind on it and I finally ground this thing away. Got it down and finally got it fixed to this beautiful polished edge. And, oh man, I did not put a micro bevel on it. I suspect I will have to, though. It's pretty thin behind the edge at 14 degrees per side. I think I'm probably going to want a micro bevel on it. The steel is Sláinte, which is kind of it's supposed to be like an improved D2, I guess they call it. I don't know if that's, D2 is pretty good, so I don't know if it's an improved, but it's kind of a new take on D2, I think. I have it also on that SR2A, this guy. And this guy here carries the Sláinte as well, and really, I really like this steel on the SR2A. It's a really nice steel, and sharpens and polishes up nicely, as you can see it does here too. And so we'll see how it's pretty hard, and that's one of the reasons it took me so long to reprofile this. It's 60 to 61 Rockwell, and that's grinding away of those 100 grit stones forever. So it's pretty hard. So maybe the edge will be stable. I don't know. I suspect that when I start doing this, I'm going to go back and stick like an 18 degree micro bevel on it or something. So we'll see. For now, I'm going to go ahead and just try it this way and see what I think. But anyway, isn't that just a gorgeous edge? I mean, that's a lot of work there. So I'm kind of attached to that little sucker. Anyway, this is the factory sheath it came with, and it's a cavalry style, fold over leather sheath. Very nice, actually. For a factory sheath, it's very nice. Made in Italy, obviously, because, you know, flying steel is from Italy. Overall, just a very nice sheath. It is a little, I mean, it's actually a beautiful sheath. My only real complaint with it, other than the cavalry style, which I don't actually mind it being cavalry style, it's kind of neat. And when I ordered it, I thought maybe that was going to be kind of neat. When I got it, I kind of now wish it wasn't. Not so much that I mind a cavalry style sheath. It's just that with the snap over here, the snap's not super tight, and that can kind of be noisy. That's a little annoying. Not terrible, but a little annoying. And this is the part where you slide your belt through is pretty wide. So when you go to draw the knife, the sheath slides up and down. It's not real snug on your belt. Beautiful and very form-fitting. As you can see, the knife just fits in here. It's really been molded to the knife really nicely. I mean, you can see the lines of the knife. You can see how it sits there. That little hump right there is represented right there. I mean, it really holds the knife well. And it's actually almost difficult to put back in sometimes. It's so snug. And it's a beautiful sheath. I'm not digging on the sheath at all. It is a very nice sheath. That said, with the cavalry, I keep wanting to say cavalry, but cavalry style, totally different thing. Cavalry style sheath, it kind of, I don't know. When I got it, I thought, man, maybe I don't dig that as much as I thought maybe I would. So I ordered a custom sheath for it. And I got this custom sheath right here for it from a gentleman named Robert Jones at handsomeleather.com. And I recommend you guys, if you guys are looking for a custom sheath, check him out. I'll put a link to his website in the description below. This I got, as you can tell, it's actually a pouch style sheath, and it's made for horizontal carry. The belt goes through here, and you wear it. I wear it on my left side, just kind of above my left pocket, and it sits right like that. And he made this for me by hand, and it is just a glorious sheath. Fits the knife perfectly. It's snug enough that it holds the knife in there, but not so snug that you can't get it out with a nice tug. It's got like perfect retention. It sits on your belt. It sits just slightly canted up. I mean, instead of being true horizontal, it's just got a slight kick, so I got a little bit of gravity helping hold it into as well. It's got a nice pinch in here. It's just, in general, just a really nice feel. He left just enough. His hands and my hands must be about the same size, because he left just enough perfect for 2 fingers to fit right in there and grab that. Those 2 fingers just fit perfectly, and just make the grab. I pull the knife out, and I've got it. So this is really the sheath that I'm going to carry with this knife with 90+% of the time. I mean, this is just a glorious sheath. I got this for $65 shipped. Well worth the price. Excellent craftsmanship. Really nice guy, easy to work with. I kind of picked out the sheath that I thought I wanted, kind of told him what I wanted, and talked to him about it via email, and then send him the knife so he could, he requires you to send him the knife generally. Unless he has that particular knife in stock, he'll generally pretty much require you to send him the knife so he can custom fit your knife to the sheath. And when he got the knife, then he's like, you know what? I don't think what we were talking about initially was going to work that well. And he kind of gave me some other ideas. And I said, you know what? You're the sheath master. You do what you think is right. I've explained to you kind of my goal here. So I said, I'll let you and trust you to give me something good. And boy, did he! What an amazing sheath this is. It's just perfect. Like I said, again, just great retention. I can't even shake it out that. If I shake that hard upside down, the knife will fall out. Again, it's a heavier knife. I mean, it's not a heavy knife, but it's far heavier than the sheath, so it's going to shake out. But it's just what I'd call perfect retention. It's not hard to get out, but yet it fits nice and snug and holds well. So anyway, if you guys are looking for a nice fixed blade, kind of a medium-sized fixed blade that you can carry out with you, either EDC. In this format, as a horizontal carry, this is a great EDC choice for me. If I want for a fixed blade, I really like this. Otherwise, for a hiking knife or woods knife or whatever. Again, it's not super thin behind the edge, but that's going to make it pretty nice for doing some, it's going to make it a durable knife, being out there beating on it in the woods. And it's got some different kind of functionality to it here with the Torx driver and the wire strippers and the bottle opener and whatnot, and the pry bar. It's just I just dig the knife. So obviously I bought it and I like it. So if you're looking for something similar to this, go ahead and check it out. I think I got this for $118 off Amazon, and they may now be making them in Nylox steel as well. I'm not sure. I've seen some of that as well. This particular one is Sláinte, which, like I said, I have Sláinte on another knife on that SR2A, and I like that, so I'm very comfortable with that. It's got really nice stone washing on it, by the way. If you didn't see that, I'll get you up close to look here. If I can get the iPhone to play. There we go. It's got the DPX logo there, and then, of course, this is a Robert Young Pelton design, so, it's got his kind of crazy skull thing, which I could frankly live without, and I could live without this too, but the rest of the knife is so good that I'll live with them, no big deal. But great little fixed blade, and if you guys are looking for a horizontal, or not even a horizontal, any sheath for any knife, frankly, give Robert Jones at handsewnleather.com a shout out and tell him I sent you, and get yourself a really nice custom sheath for pretty much any knife, but specifically for this is a great sheath for this knife. Again, really nice. No real issues with this as far as the build quality, just really nice. That little rattle is a little annoying, and the fact that it's a little broad really is my only real issues. Had those two things not been the case, I probably would have just grown to would have grown to appreciate the cavalry style a bit more. But because those two were that way, I'm like, and then when I went to get something else, I wasn't going to get a cavalry style. I wanted to get an open style here, and I wanted to get horizontal and whatnot. So I ended up here, and this is the perfect setup for me. So anyway, give this knife a look, guys. It's for smaller fixed blade. I think you will find yourself liking it. Anyway, that is 1 All's 2 cents. Keep the change. Sláinte.